What is going on, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And Jon Jones has finally admitted that he's afraid to fight Tom Aspinall. Now, of course, he didn't say that word for word, but after a run of tweets and a back and forth between him and Aspinall on Twitter, it seems pretty clear. I'm going to read you guys some of these tweets from Jon Jones and let me know what you make of them. So the first one is Jon replying to a fan who said that Aspinall's done all he can. You can't blame him for being frustrated. And Jon's response was, it doesn't really work like that. I was a champion when I was 23 years old. You can't show up at age 30 pretending like you've been chasing me your whole life. I have no clue who 90% of his resume is. Meanwhile, I've been highlighting UFC events my entire career. Now, the only problem with that is, yes, of course, Aspinall doesn't have as great of a resume as Jon Jones. Nobody does. But how can you really fault him on that? Just because you started a lot earlier doesn't mean that Aspinall coming in when he's 30 and reaching the prime of his career shouldn't be asking for this fight. That just doesn't make sense at all. Obviously, Aspinall's going to want to fight you. You have the championship. He's the interim champ. But whatever. It gets better. Trust me. In another tweet, he said, I love how a fighter can do an interview about me every week, make silly memes on the internet, and then when I respond, they play the victim role. Lol. Aspinall's not playing the victim. He's literally just asking to fight you. That's all he's doing. He's not saying anything bad about you at all. He's literally just asking to fight you. And then in another follow-up tweet, he says, Tom, you're talking about someone's ego running wild is one of the most hypocritical things ever. You literally haven't kept my balls out of your mouth since you won that imaginary championship. Both you and Sergey have 0 championships between your name. It's funny that you think you could be saying all of these things. That is kind of funny, but how is he supposed to fight for the championship if you don't give him the chance? And we could technically say that you have a fake belt, Jon. You fought Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane wasn't the champ. Francis Ngannou was the champ, and he left. So technically, you don't have a real belt either. So it's a lot of interesting things that Jones is saying right now. And what I'm gathering from it is that he pretty much just doesn't want to fight Tom. He wants a Stipe fight because he knows the Stipe fight's the easier fight. And we can keep saying this, oh, it's a legacy fight, this and that. No one cares. Stipe hasn't won a fight in forever. You couldn't even tell me when the last time he won a fight was. So it just doesn't make sense. If you fought Stipe 3 years ago, okay, maybe, we would be interested. But if you're going to hold the title, people want to see you fight the best. And right now, Tom Aspinall is clearly the best. He went out there on 2 weeks' notice in Madison Square Garden, and he knocked out Sergey Pavlovich, the guy nobody wanted to fight. And he absolutely deserves his credit for that. And all he wants is a title shot. He wants to fight you. So I don't really know how you can really be saying no to this at this point. Unless, of course, you don't want the fight. And in another tweet that has now been deleted, he mentioned how he just wants to fight Stipe and then hang it up. He said, yeah, this is my last fight. I want to fight Stipe Miocic and I want to retire. So now it obviously makes a little more sense why he wants Stipe. He clearly wants to go out on a win. He doesn't want to lose, of course. And honestly, I think he loses to Tom Aspinall at this point in his career. Some people may call me crazy, but I think at this point, Jon's getting older. No one's invincible forever, and Tom Aspinall is the real deal. Tom also came out with a tweet, which I thought was pretty true, to be honest. He said, Jon Jones, you need to fight people who build your legacy. Me, great idea, absolutely. UFC, do you want to fight Tom? Stipe, no. Jon, no. Me, confused. Yeah, and that pretty much sums up this whole situation. The UFC too have done not a great job at trying to put this fight together. They clearly want the Jon Jones and Stipe fight just as much as Jon Jones does. It seems like Aspinall's the only one in the equation that really wants to fight at this point, and it's unfair to him, and it's unfair to the fans as well. We're being robbed of one of probably the best heavyweight title fights that we could see for a very long time. You have Tom Aspinall, who is an absolute beast. You have Jon Jones, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, for one last fight against one of the best fighters in heavyweight that we've seen in this new age of heavyweight. So, I don't know. We're being robbed of a fight here, but Jones doesn't care. Stipe doesn't care. And I honestly think this Jones and Stipe fight is going to end up being which is ridiculous. But I also think it means that we're going to have to see Tom defend the interim title, which is pathetic. I don't even know who he would defend it against. Of course, there's those rumors going on with Alex Pereira and potentially him coming up to heavyweight to fight Tom Aspinall. But honestly, for Pereira's sake, please don't do that. You could do a lot of great things at light heavyweight. Don't go and ruin it and go up to heavyweight and get your ass kicked by Tom Aspinall, because let's face it, Aspinall is a way bigger dude and he would probably dominate Pereira. As for who you could defend the title against in heavyweight, I mean, maybe Jailton Almeida, if he gets a win over Curtis Blades, I guess that could kind of make sense, but not really still, because she'll be fighting for the real title. Surreal Gone, he might get a title shot off of doing absolutely nothing again. He seems to keep getting title shots, and maybe he gets a shot at the interim against Tom Aspinall. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but however it plays out, I think Tom's going to end up getting screwed, and it really sucks. But yeah, what's going on right now is completely unfair to Tom, and it's unfair to everybody. I don't think this type of thing should be happening. This is a lot of the type of things you see in boxing, where you see a lot of the top guys not really want to fight each other. They keep doing these other fights, and we never end up actually seeing the best fight. It's happened a ton of times in boxing, and I really hope it doesn't happen in the UFC, but this isn't a good sign. We can't be protecting people. These are fighters at the end of the day. Jon Jones is probably the best of all time in a lot of people's books, so why is he so hesitant to fight Tom Aspinall unless he knows what would happen? That's the only thing I can get out of this, to be honest. Nothing else makes sense, and yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Those are my thoughts on it, though. Let me know what you guys have to say, though. Who do you agree with here? Do you think Jon Jones is in the right? He should be able to ask for the Stipe fight, or do you think he should be fighting the best guy in the division in Tom Aspinall, who holds the interim title? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. And yeah, stay tuned for more content like this. Once again, thank you all for watching another one of my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.